This is a Google form with how to create a Google Sheet as well as a Google form. So if you're watching the video, that means you've created your questionnaire. My theme that I chose is a sports questionnaire, so I labeled it right here, sports questionnaire, and up top here I called it form with a sheet. I put a little bit of information in there for the people so they know, please complete the following form all about sports in your life. So when students receive this, they're going to complete their first name. Do you like sports? And they're going to tell us why or why not. They're going to say, which sport is your favorite to play? Notice I put a bunch in here, but I also left one for other. So if they do choose other, they can click in that box there and they can type another. Alright. So the next question I have, which two sports are your favorite to watch on TV? So they'll pick two of these. Okay. How much do you enjoy watching the Vikings on TV? They can put they hate it, or it's the best thing ever, or anything in the middle. And then how many Super Bowls have the Vikings played in? That's actually going to be a drop-down question. Okay, so they'll be able to see that as a drop-down. So when you get your questionnaire all done and completed, you're going to send it. Okay, so you need to get 10 responses back. So notice I have 12. I sent it out to 12 students because I figured 2 students wouldn't respond to it. Well, all 12 ended up doing it, so I just have some extra responses. That's okay. I recommend sending it out to 12 students, so that way you can get at least 10 responses back. Now, you only send this to the students in your computer class. That's it. So you click on send. So when I click send form, this box pops up right here, okay? Now, I can start typing in students' emails. So here's a 7th grader's email, for example, Ella James, alright? And I can click on her email, and then I can start typing in another student's name. So, Owen, alright, I can click on his name, and I can just keep, even though it goes off on the side here, you see how the name goes off further? I can try another student's name, and it'll still pop up, okay? Now, I already sent this to a bunch of students, so I'm not going to do that again, alright? So that's why I'm deleting these. But I'd recommend 10 to 12 students. My subject was sports questionnaire, and I put a message in here. I typed my own personal message. I put, please fill this out to help me gather data. You can type whatever you want in there. That's completely fine. And then I hit send, okay? And it sent it out. So then, what you have to do as a student, once you send yours out, go to your email, and you'll probably have to refresh a bunch of times, but you're going to want to get additional emails from people, okay? So that way you can answer their surveys while you're waiting to get all of your surveys. So go ahead and pause the video and answer their surveys and wait until you get at least 10 responses right here. Okay, if you started the video back up, that means you have at least 10 responses right here. If you don't have 10, go send, you can always send it to more kids in class so they can fill it out until you have 10. So once you get your 10, you're going to click on responses. Okay, now notice how there's summary and individual. So I can individually look at how each person filled it out. Like Jed said he likes sports. He didn't tell me why or why not. He said his favorite is football. The 2 sports he loves to watch on TV, he put other and none. Okay, so that's an option. Most kids will put 2 different ones though. How much do you enjoy watching the Vikings? Says he hates it. How many Super Bowls have the Vikings played in? 4 he picked. That's actually correct. 4 Super Bowls, and they lost all 4. Okay. Now, if I wanted to look at the next person, I just click this arrow here and I can see the response. So here's Dylan's responses. Okay, now that's individual. If I want a summary and I can see all the information, I can click on summary right here. It tells me the names, tells me their answers, tells me that 3 people picked volleyball, that's their favorite sport to play, 2 picked football, 1 picked baseball, 1 basketball, 1 hockey, 1 all, 1 rhythmic gymnastics, so they typed in, 1 wrestling, 1 swimming, okay? So I got all this data. Now what I can do with this data is, you see this up on the top here, we have this green thing. It says create spreadsheet. That's what we're going to do, okay? Now when it says create a new spreadsheet, it says form with sheet responses. I'm going to call it sports responses. So that way I know what it's going to be called, okay? And I'm going to click create. Now you see how it takes a minute and it opens it up. Now before you do anything else, let it open up fully, okay? So it gets out there. And then you see right here where it says move to, you can click on this and pick Computer 7. Now it might select it for you, Computer 7, because you created your Google form in the Computer 7. If it doesn't, maybe you have to go to, and you got to click on My Drive, and you got to click on Computer 7. Now it won't let me move it here because I've already got it there. Alright? So, let's look at all this data here. So here it tells me when the person filled it out. Most of these guys filled it out on December 13th. They did it between, so the 13 means 1 p.m. It's in the afternoon. That's military time. So they did it between 1:32 p.m. and 1:34. So they filled it out rather quickly. Okay? So now I can start adjusting my spreadsheet. So I'm going to take this right here, and I'm going to text wrap it. So that way it looks nicer right here. And I'm going to do the same thing for column C here. I'm going to do text wrapping. So that way, when I want to narrow these up and make it all on one sheet, I can do that. Actually, I'm going to bold this up here too. Okay. So, out of all this information, I really don't care about the timestamps. I'm going to click on column A, and I'm going to click on this little arrow right there, and I'm going to delete the column. Cannot delete column, consider hiding it instead. Okay, so I can't delete it. I'm just going to hide it. I don't need that. I don't really care about it, okay? Now, for some more of this data here, what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you guys how to sort data with it. So you're going to copy all this right here, and you can do data and sort range. So if you might remember this, you can do data header has a row. So I don't really want to sort it by first name or the sports. I think I'm going to sort it by how much they enjoy watching the Vikings. And I'm going to do it Z to A. Okay? You must include all columns in the form. Okay. So what happened is when I hid that one column, it won't let me do it. So I'm going to go back up here. See this little arrow here? I can click on it and unhide it. So now I'm going to highlight everything again and do data, sort range, column headers, how much do you enjoy sports, Z to A, sort. Alright, so here are my people that love watching the Vikings, and here are my people that hate watching the Vikings, and everybody in between here, okay? So, what I want to do is I want to try to figure out, and I want to try to figure out what's going to be the best for graphing. So, just to kind of show graphing information. So, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take their names. Remember, I can click and with the handprint and move them over right here. And I'm just going to graph these two columns right here. So I'm going to do insert and a chart. And I kind of like that it's a column chart right here, because I think it really shows me well how it breaks down. But this is kind of a lot up here. So I'm going to go over here. I like the column chart. And I'm going to go to customize and do chart style, and I'm going to do a background color. I'm going to try black once. I'm going to change the font to wide, and I like the 3D look. That's kind of cool. So now I'm going to do an access. So the title, it's way too long, so I'm going to put how much, let's see. So it's a linear scale of how much they enjoy watching something. So I'm going to do Minnesota Vikings as the title. And I'll bold it. And then I'm going to go to the horizontal axis, which is down here, which is first name. That's fine like that. I think I'll bold that. and then I'll go to the vertical. So I'm going to put 0 to 10 for watching the Vikings on TV. And I'm going to see that does fit in there. It's up to you guys what you want to put here, okay? And for whatever reason, I really like when the legend is on the bottom, so I'm going to do that, okay? I don't know, it just looks better to me, okay? It's up to you guys where you want to put it, so it's your choice. I'm going to do the series color. Red and black, they kind of look nice together like that. You know, Malacca colors. And so I'm going to keep that right there. And I think that's all I'm going to do, okay? So I'm going to click right here. And I'm going to move this to its own sheet. Now I got to name it. So I'm going to call this my Vikings chart and hit enter. Then I'm going to double click on Form Responses 1. I'm just going to call it Responses. You guys call it what you want, but name it something. It has to be named something, okay? So here's what I'm going to end up turning in. I've got this Sports Responses sheet. I'm going to turn that into Google Classroom. And then this Form with Sheet that I called it, I'm going to turn that into Google Classroom. So that's your assignment. Good luck.